welcome everybody and thank you for joining us again on segments that we are now calling Grounds for Discussion. During the DMC Q&A held just a couple of weeks ago, there were portions of that were, due to technical difficulties, left out. We missed some of that, and we really wanted to try to get some of that information back and share what we know and what we learned about our candidates. One of those candidates was the candidate for Republican chair. That is Kerry Anderson. And she has agreed to join us here today. Kerry, thank you so much for coming. And we apologize for having so many technical difficulties, but thanks for catching up and making us some time. Kerry's been working all night long. It's very early in the morning when we're shooting this. So thanks for staying up all night and coming. And I guess we can jump right into it.
Okay. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. Then thank you again. But tell us a little bit about Kerry Anderson, some of your experiences with organizations, campaigns, and elections. This isn't your first. You're not just dipping your toe into this. You've been in it for a while.
Right.
Tell us a little about it.
Yes, well, I moved up here in 2012 from the Houston Spring area. I was looking for a little bit more relaxed life, but I was involved with the Republican Party there. And about in the past 3 campaigns, I was helping Johnny Howe, just putting out signs and trying to get more involved in it. And I started learning more as I started helping with her, and she decided to step down and get involved more with her family business up in the Panhandle. So she convinced me that it was time for me to apply for this position, and so I'm trying to do my best to learn all the handbook and everything with the Secretary of State and all the procedures and policies and validations and everything that goes along with the Republican Party chairperson, as well as representing the county in the state and national level to try and promote Fisher County.
So she approached you and said, "Hey, I really like you to do this job." But what made you decide to pull the trigger and go ahead and run for this spot?
Well, we had been talking about there were some openings, such as Precinct 4. She would ask me, "Hey, do you know anybody that you think would be interested, since we have nobody running in that position?" And that just got me saying, "Hey, I do like helping out this county and trying to find good candidates from our citizens, residents, and businesses to help, get more ideas and try and improve policies and procedures and just the whole political climate here." It just seemed like it kind of faded away, but everybody just kept voting for the same incumbent constantly. And I just want to get some more fresh ideas and some more, other choices and get the conversation going about what's going on in politics.
So you've got some experience in it before, but is this your first time stepping into like a civic leadership role?
Yes, most definitely. I've always been one of those to be behind the scenes, so this is going to be an exciting time for me, putting my best foot forward and trying to see what I can do to help expand the Republican Party platform here in Fisher County.
Perfect segue right into the next question. Thanks for teeing that up for me. So what's your vision for growing the Republican Party, especially in Fisher County?
I definitely want to get more involvement by the citizens. I really want to get more interaction with them, saying monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, just having meet and greets with the candidates and just letting them know what is going on in the politics at the state level, national level, but definitely at the local level. Even if it comes down to budget items or just whatever kind of rules and bylaws that county commissioners are coming up with. Just something so they know what they're voting on, and especially to let the children know what we're voting on now is going to affect them and the way they grow up in the future. So we need to make good, logical choices right now.
So what are some of your thoughts on recruiting, especially for the vacancies? Let's start with adults. We'll get to the kids. How do you plan on, or I guess, what are your thoughts on recruiting those precinct chairs and other vacant candidate slots throughout the county?
I definitely want to approach people that have, especially small business, and people that know how basically the foundation and formation of policies and budgets. A lot of people don't understand how the money flows through the counties, and getting some local businesses, even the ranchers that have, the larger businesses and various, if they do the ranching and cotton, just very versatile. I think they would be great to have input in, as well as helpfully with their input, we can even start bringing in more businesses when they see a proactive government locally that is accepting more businesses to come in, just like, and I know this was brought up at county commissioners, like that gentleman that wanted to redo the airstrip. That would have brought in so much extra business, and it wouldn't have hardly cost anything. But they need to see not what's going to fill their pockets, but what's going to fill the county, increase the businesses, increase the traffic flow, not to database where you need to reroute roads, but just that would bring in more businesses and say, hey, there is a lot going on. We've got an airstrip that is fully functional. We can do our private planes here. That might even increase Airbnbs, restaurants, gift shops, just increase a whole versatile economy here in the area instead of we've got to go to Nolan County because there's not enough restaurants here. Just try and promote this county that we do have the people here to support a lot of infrastructure.
That we do. You have thoughts, I guess. You can see a future where this county grows.
Definitely. And when you've got Highway 70 and US Highway 180, you can't miss that. I mean, it's two major roads that they do that to bypass I-20 and 84 just to, stay off the, go off the beaten track, and we're missing a lot of that income.
So let's get back to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
You have some thoughts and some ideas on bringing civic-minded thoughts to the young, but also to pull them in and educate them too. Tell us a little bit more about that.
That is going to be, that's one of the fun things. I enjoy working with the livestock shows. And those kids, they've got such discipline and enthusiasm with their animals and everything. I think if they would just start seeing a little bit more of the politics side of it, just like how a business is run, like I said, getting the farmers and ranchers, letting these kids learn the budgeting side, doing including some more poli-sci into the livestock side, just to kind of get them well-rounded that, okay, I know how to maintain this animal. Okay, how can I expand this animal? And then use that to introduce them to, the agriculture side, just like Sid Miller. He's great at trying to show the how businesses can grow through the agriculture and the versatility of that. Like I was saying, with the ranching and the cotton, just getting that and then showing how they get the legislator and grants and funding like that. They can help promote their own businesses, and I don't know, and hopefully with that knowledge they can start getting scholarships and just increasing their knowledge in a well-rounded way.
So let's get back to the responsibilities and duties of the Republican chair. Tell us a little bit about how the duties are kind of outlined within the election code, especially for the party chair.
Okay, yes. We start with certifying the applications, making sure they are eligible with residency and just with their background. And once we do that, we can present them onto the ballot through the county clerk. And then after that, we have our primary election, and we will certify that once again with the county clerk and present that to the Secretary of State for validation.
So seems impossible to have politics without disagreements. So how do you handle disagreements or factions within the party itself?
I think that one's going to be on a case by case basis. Honestly, seeing the severity of the uh, the the candidates and for the position they're in, I think that'll be one of those that the last thing they sign when I certify their application is they have to be governed by the platform rules, and I think that is kind of like a formal guideline of how they should present themselves and, I guess, keep themselves up to a higher standard than some of the dogging down and everything else. But I want to try and keep everybody above board and, their views clear and a clean platform.
Okay, you touched on this a little bit when we were discussing the future possibilities of Fisher County. How would you like to use the party chair platform to address issues specific to our rural community?
I would definitely like to present Fisher County on the state level and present it to other businesses that might be interested in growing and expanding the agricultural business and any other industry that is not dissolving our pastures and and taking away our rural agricultural lifestyle. I find that some of the businesses that are here, they are taking too much of our natural resources that are severely needed for our agricultural business.
One last question.
Okay.
What is one thing that you would really like voters to know about Kerry Anderson before next week's election day?
Well, I just want them to know that I am here for the county. I'm here to make a good stand and represent y'all and make sure y'all have the best candidates possible and that everything will be in a just and fair manner.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank y'all for having me here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. You've taken time out of your day, taking also, the idea of reaching out and speaking to voters too. I think that it means a lot. It means a lot to us. I hope that it means a lot to everybody watching. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about the people that you're going to potentially elect into office. So all I have to say outside of that is thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being with us. Election day is next week. Get out there and cast your votes.
Thank y'all.